So every time you hit this club, it's a nice, high, beautiful draw. And every time you grab this club, it's a banana slice into the weeds. What is going on? The same golfer, the same swing, two completely different shots. Well, you come to the right place, because today I'm going to tell you why you always slice your driver, but you can hit a good quality iron shot. I'm PGA teaching professional Todd Kolb, Director of Instruction for US Golf TV and the Sanford Power Golf Academy. And even though you're the same golfer, these two clubs are two completely different clubs. They're designed different, they're meant to be swung a little bit different, and today I'm going to show you what you can do. Believe it or not, it's a pretty simple fix in your setup that can give you the same results with this driver that you're getting with your irons. Now I got to tell you this, if you haven't already, hey, join our family here at US Golf TV. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to click the bell so you get the notifications of when we're putting new content out. Man, we are doing great stuff here, and we are learning a lot from you too. I love the comments that I'm getting from you. This community of golfers, we're learning from each other and we're growing awful quickly. So please join our family and be sure to let us know what you want us to talk about. So let's dive right into this. So here's what we've got, two completely different clubs. This club right here is my driver, 9.5 degrees of loft. This is my 6 irons, got a lot more loft than that. So here's what I want you to know. And then I'm going to share with you some tips on what we could be doing to help us get this driver in line. When we're swinging an iron, okay, let's think about this first of all. When we're swinging an iron, the ball is on the ground. So the objective to hit a good quality iron shot is to make sure that the club comes in contact with the ball when it's traveling in a descending, a downward motion, okay? Now, when you hit your driver, it's the one club in your bag that you want to hit ideally. If you want to maximize distance, which is a big part of the game these days, you want to actually hit up on the golf ball. So let's use an analogy. We're thinking of on an airplane. When you're hitting an iron, it's the descent. You're coming in and you're landing. When you're hitting your driver, you're taking off. It's working up. And what happens is that when the club is traveling in a slight downward motion, it makes it easier for you to draw the golf ball, all things being equal. When you're swinging your driver, you're taking off on that airplane, the club is going to start traveling up and it's going to start traveling in, which makes it more difficult to draw the golf ball. Now, there is a whole science behind all this, and I'm just giving you a brief explanation because I want to get in here to the tips and tell you how you can actually fix it. And we've done a couple videos on that. We did an entire book called Science of the Slice on this, where we talk about, center of gravity, pressure point, sweet spot of the golf club, all of this types of stuff. So if you want that detailed information, go ahead, check that out, because that will help you. But let's talk about how we can navigate that, because we know these two clubs are different. So let's dive into this driver. We've talked about some of the reasons here, what's going on. So I've got my live view set up. I love using my live view here at the Academy because it is live and it's the view. We can see what's going on. And one of the hardest things to do as a coach is helping people actually feel, okay, and relate that to what they're actually doing, feel versus real. You've heard that. So I've got it set up here. I got right here, live view set on straight on. And I've got two lines. I've got a red line, okay, and I've got a yellow line. Now, when I'm set in here, what we want to feel, if we want to fix this driver, so we start drawing the golf ball, is this would be my normal iron setup, okay? Let me actually grab the iron. Let me kind of walk you through that. So I'm set up here. I'll get a golf ball in the same spot. All right, now, when I'm set up with my iron, I'm going to have that red line. See, it's on the inside of my lead heel there, kind of right off my hip socket, okay? And I've got my head just slightly behind that, a little bit, okay? Now when I hit an iron shot, okay, I can move a little bit down and forward on it because I want a descending motion. I want that club to be tracking and moving down, all right? Now when you're hitting a driver, in order to hit up on the ball, okay, in order to hit up on the ball, it's going to be really good to see from the live view here, you've got to get your lower body going forward and your upper body back. Notice how my lead hip, left hip, is working over that red line and my head is staying back. This helps me hit up on the golf ball. All right, so what we got to do to navigate that is a couple things in the setup. Number one, you're going to take your lead hip and you're going to move it over, okay? So notice how my lead hip is bumped over. So see, my trail hip is inside my foot, inside my trail foot. My lead hip is over my lead foot, but I've still got my head behind. Now, what I want to feel is I'm going to make a couple little mini motions. So I'm going to take it up, and I'm going to feel like my lead hip bumps that, see, but my head stays back. This is going to help me hit up on the golf ball. Okay, so let me go ahead and hit one. I've done a couple rehearsals. I'm going to go ahead and pop it. I got my lead hip over, head back. All right, that felt pretty decent, not too bad. So that's the first tip I want to give you, is I want you to make sure that your lead hip is a little bit forward, okay, and your head is back a little bit. And that's going to help us hit up on the golf ball. Now, because we're hitting up on the golf ball, we also want to draw the ball. We need to do something different also with our aim, okay? So in the aim, what I want you to do is I want you to aim slightly to the right of the target if you're a right-handed golfer. Okay, so if this would be nice and square, see my toes right here, parallel to my target line. I'm going to take my feet, just bump them just a little bit. Just take that lead foot a little bit forward. Now, what does that do? What that does, okay, is all things being equal, is that kicks what we call the path. Think of the sweet spot of the club, the direction that the sweet spot travels, the center of the club right here. Where it travels, if I bump my hip a little bit this way, that helps it travel to the right. Now, as the club is traveling to the right, that's going to help me draw the golf ball. And there's a whole science behind that. I already talked about that. The science of the slice, we got that in there. You could check that out, and that can give you more description on that. But we've got the lead hip bumped. We've got a slight rightward aim. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And then I want to give you one more tip here to help you get that driver straightened out. So you're set in. Remember the bump. Okay, a little bit of aim. Head back. Okay, here we go. That felt solid. Okay, felt real solid. A couple tips right there on that. Now, last tip I want to give you, this is a magic one right here. I use this all the time. Matter of fact, I just used it this week with one of my tour pros. What I want you, now I don't know why this works, I'm just going to be honest with you, but it works almost all the time. And what you're going to do is when you're set in there, I want you to hover the club just a little bit behind the ball. So let's get set in here. All right, here we go. I've got my lead hip over the red. This is why I love the live view. Once those lines are set up, they just stay there. I can just rinse and repeat over and over. Bump it, head back. Okay, slight aim, there we go. Now I'm set up to hit up on the ball, swing to the right and draw it. Now I'm going to take the club head and just hover it. See how it's just hovering above the ground like that? Let me go ahead and hit it from here. Okay, that felt really good. Maybe a little bit on the toe, but I could tell it was there. So there is a reason, if you make two swings, why this club right here might be a nice high draw and this club is a slice. It's not your fault. It's not probably your swing. It's your setup. Next time you head to the golf course with your driver, okay, get a slight rightward aim, bump the lead hip, tilt the head back, hover the club a little bit. If you do that, you're going to start hitting a nice high draw with this club right here, the driver, as you do with your irons.